Hello, hello, hello everyone, and welcome to the Sidereal Insights Astro update for April 23rd, 2018. With the Sidereal Astro update, we explore the astrology of the current planetary transits across the heavens from a Western sidereal perspective. And you are more than welcome to bring your sidereal natal chart to the broadcast, to the discussion. If you'd like to look for activity in your chart at planets or points we may be talking about today on the broadcast. I'm 𝗦𝗶𝗱𝗲. I'm the astrologer and artist of Mystick Physick Astrology, and I use Western sidereal astrology to help you reconnect with your soul purpose and remember why you came. And my aim with the broadcast is always to provide guidance on how we can consciously use the energy of the transiting planets to affect our lives in a positive way. And so today we'll be talking a bit about Pluto retrograde, which is a several-month-long transit that's just getting underway. We're going to talk about the upcoming Mars-Pluto conjunction, and we're going to talk a bit about Mars's tour through Capricorn, which will be starting early next month, and what it means when Venus is out of bounds. And so, to kind of get you oriented, we recently had Jupiter turn retrograde. We've had Saturn station retrograde just about 5 days ago, and now Pluto stationing retrograde. And so we have quite a bit of retrograde activity going on, primarily concentrated in the mid to outer planets right now, although we will have Mars joining in that over the summer, and Venus as well. So keep an eye out for our future broadcast where we talk a little bit more in depth on what those retrogrades will mean for us. But yes, just on the 17th, we had Saturn station retrograde in Sagittarius. And so this is, depending on where you have Sagittarius falling in your sidereal natal chart, this is going to give you a little bit of breathing room in that house. It's an opportunity to go back and re-examine activity of that house where you may have unmet commitments or responsibilities that you need to hold up. And it's an opportunity for you to make sure you've met those commitments and upheld those responsibilities before Saturn goes direct again. And so this is a really wonderful opportunity for making sure that we clean up our end of any bargains we've made in our Sagittarius house. Okay, and Saturn will be retrograde there until September 6th. So this is going to be going on throughout the summer months if you're in the northern hemisphere, winter months if you're in the southern hemisphere. And Capricorn and Aquarius sun and rising signs are most likely to feel this directly, but also are folks with a planet or point at 14 degrees of Sagittarius, which is where Saturn was when he stationed. So the ways in which we've handled our responsibilities and our obligations to others are coming up for inspection under this transit, and it's an opportunity for us to make sure that we're meeting our end of those commitments before Saturn stations direct later in September. Okay, we've also had Venus recently enter Taurus just on the 20th. Hi, Jana. It's good to have you on today. So Venus is right at home in Taurus, right? She rules that sign. She's the planet of sensuality and beauty. She governs what we hold most dear, not only in terms of our personal values, but also in terms of our relationships, in terms of our belongings, okay? And so she entered her home sign of Taurus just 2 days ago. She's going to be there for about a 3.5 week long visit. So you may find that your money consciousness is raised and that you may more instinctively value things of quality or beauty of form, okay? So this is a transit where we want our senses appealed to, right? In our surroundings, in our clothing, in our food, in our arts and entertainment, okay? So we want to immerse ourselves in enjoyment of experiences, feeling, seeing, tasting, touching, hearing, okay? So this is a time to really just kind of enjoy experiences. We also have Pluto stationing retrograde today, and this is another long-term transit. It's going to last about 5 months. He's going to reverse course also through late September. And we'll see under this transit, perhaps our philosophical ideals, our beliefs, our ideologies, our beliefs about the truth come under the microscope, right? So anything that doesn't hold up under this scrutiny could be totally destroyed and transformed in that process. And one day that I want you to kind of put a pin in to keep your eye on is coming up here on the 26th, so in just 2 days. And that is where freshly retrograde Pluto is going to conjoin Mars in Sagittarius, okay? Now, this is kind of a volatile aspect, right? Both Pluto and Mars are considered destructive planets in the way that their energy can express. Pluto typically uses destruction to transform. So whatever he destroys will be reborn completely new, totally transformed. Mars is very aggressive, very conflict-oriented. So this is a day where we could potentially see the risk of conflict with authority figures and power struggles. Those are energies you'll want to be aware of. It would be wise to practice patience, forgiveness, compassion on the 26th and days around that date, simply because we have this huge magnification through conjunction of the energy of both Mars and Pluto. And that's happening at 26 degrees Sagittarius. This is by the 𝘱𝗫𝗏𝗏 Sidereal Zodiac. So you may want to check your chart to see if you have planets or points at 26 degrees of Sagittarius, because if you do, you may want to be extra vigilant and extra patient coming on the 26th. Now, at the end of the month, we have the full moon in Libra, and you'll want to join me. This is coming up on Sunday the 29th. We're going to host our full moon releasing practice in the Sidereal Insights Facebook group, the Sidereal Insights Astrology Facebook group at 7:30 that evening. We have the full moon April 29th. That's at 14 degrees Libra by the 𝘱𝗫𝗏𝗏 Zodiac. And that's a time for us to be focusing on meeting our obligations in the spirit of, generosity, cooperation. It's a time for being a good partner in all the ways that we partner. So not just with our romantic partners, with our business partners, but in all the relationships where we play a significant role. So be sure and join me in the Sidereal Insights group for that on Sunday the 29th. Early May, on the 4th, we have Mars moving into Capricorn, and this is going to be a particularly, I think, significant transit for some folks, and it's a really wonderful opportunity for several reasons, and we're going to get into why here in just one moment. Hi, Danielle. It's good to have you on, too. Now, part of the reason that this is significant is because Mars is exalted in Capricorn. We're going to talk a little bit about what that means. And how it benefits all of us. A planet that's exalted, that's considered an essential dignity. The planet itself is fortified by its position, by the sign that it's in. Now, let's talk a little bit about Capricorn and why Mars would be exalted in Capricorn, since Mars and Saturn are typically considered kind of natural enemies, right? Capricorn is cardinal Earth. It's a sign which naturally rules the 10th house. It represents ambition and achievement through dedication, through commitment, through self-discipline. It represents our highest potential and what we must do to attain that highest potential. Okay? Now, it's ruled by Sun, which is the taskmaster planet, right? We can liken Saturn kind of to maybe a drill sergeant or a general, right? Saturn is kind of the boss, the manager, barking orders and making sure everyone meets their individual responsibility. And if not, then he's in charge of making sure we see the consequences of that, right? And so this then, Capricorn is about our ability to delay gratification in pursuit of a higher goal, okay? Mars is the natural ruler of Aries, okay? And both Aries and Capricorn are cardinal signs. So recall for a moment that cardinal signs are ambitious, they're self-motivated, they initiate, they start things, right? Other signs tend to finish things, but cardinal signs start things. And so in that way, Mars and Capricorn inherently complement each other. Okay? Mars represents our energy, our drive, our initiative. Keep in mind, it's the very first sign of the zodiac. It represents our desire and our willingness to take action toward that desire. Okay? So our innate drive to do. The trouble with Mars is that he can sometimes tend to peter out before crossing the finish line, right? Sometimes that's through boredom or loss of interest. Sometimes it's through loss of energy, because we do really need to be cognizant of managing our energy, right? Kind of like if you're running a marathon as opposed to a sprint. You want to save some energy so you can put on a burst of speed at the end, right? So Mars, when his energy and initiative and drive, when they're modified and tempered by his placement in Capricorn, Capricorn's earthy determination and self-discipline, especially when in service to that higher goal, when Mars is there, there's really no limit to what we can achieve when we take action. Okay? Now, normally, Mars's transit through a sign lasts about 7 or so weeks. Mars is going to retrograde beginning June 27th until August 28th, extending Mars's stay in Capricorn until November 5th of this year. That's almost 6 months with Mars in his sign of exaltation. So this is a really fantastic opportunity to accomplish a lot towards our highest ambition, towards our dreams and goals. It's a 6-month stretch where we can do that with a brief period of time in the middle for about 2 months where we're going to have an opportunity to redo anything that's not working. So if we've taken action towards things and some of those actions have kind of petered out or not gone anywhere, it'll be an opportunity to come back and re-examine why did those actions potentially fail us or not achieve what we want to, and what new action can we take? How can we alter our approach? So it's a really wonderful 6-month-long opportunity instead of an almost 2-month-long opportunity, okay? So this is going to be a wonderful way to use the coming 6-month transit of Mars in Capricorn. And then also in early April, we're going to have Venus go out of bounds. Now, we talk about out of bounds planets once in a while on the broadcast and in the group. We haven't yet had the opportunity to talk about Venus out of bounds and what that means, but you'll recall from our conversations about Mercury and Mars that out of bound planets, they almost have kind of a Uranian quality to them. They're a bit unconventional. They have kind of a maverick kind of quality. They're a little bit outside of the box, or if you want to use one of my favorite turns of phrase, they're beyond the pale. And that expression describes what we consider acceptable by social or cultural standards, right? And so out of bounds planets can sometimes be a little bit beyond what's considered acceptable in the way that they express. Okay, so Venus representing our values, representing our relationship tendencies, representing what we enjoy and appreciate, especially in terms of pleasures of the senses. Out of bounds, she can inspire us, she can inspire in us, shall I say, a greater appreciation for unconventional beauty, non-traditional values, especially in things like that she governs naturally, like art and music, or unconventional relationships. Those considered non-traditional, whether that means in terms of gender or age or partnership arrangement. And she can also inspire unusual and non-traditional business arrangements or business dealings when she's out of bounds. Okay? Now, the flip side to that is that we can sometimes tend to snobbishness when Venus is out of bounds, kind of an elitism, right? And also to maybe an excessive materialism and overindulgence in sensual pleasures, or what you might call pleasures, things like food, drink, drugs, sex, consumerism, right? Now, Venus is going to be out of bounds until June 7th. So we'll have that in play for about a month in the earlymost phases of Mars's tour through Capricorn, okay? So this is what we have, significant and major, coming up in the next couple of weeks to deal with in terms of our transits. Like I was saying, we have Jupiter and Saturn retrograde already, and Pluto just joined them. We have, excuse me, I lost my notes here. We have Mars about to move into Capricorn for an unusually long period of time. That's 6 months, just after the beginning of May. And we also have Venus headed out of bounds, which is kind of an unusual expression for Venus. And so those are what you'll kind of want to make note of and keep an eye on, and just some things to remember about how those transits might play out in your life, or how you might witness them playing out around you. I do have a couple of announcements after today's broadcast. So we did email out a reminder about this broadcast of Sidereal Insights Astro Update. And what I want you to do is check your email, open that up, even if you joined us. And down at the bottom of the email, there's a link for you to update your email preferences. And what I have done is I've broken out your email preferences into 3 options. You can sign up for the Mystick Physick Astro newsletter, which comes out a couple of times a month, usually letting you know when the horoscopes are available on the website. You can also choose to get notifications about the Sidereal Insights Astro updates on a bi-weekly basis. I'll let you know in advance when those are going to happen to remind you to join me live on the broadcast. And then you have the option of signing up for notifications to be reminded about our lunar living streams, our new moon and full moon intention setting and releasing broadcasts, which happen in the Sidereal Insights group. And so if you tend to join me for some of those live streams and not for others, you can choose now. You can select what you want to get reminded about. And I would encourage you to go in, open up that email, scroll down to the bottom, and select that link to update your email preferences. And that way you won't be getting more emails from me than what you would normally want. But also so that you know if there's something you do want to be reminded about, if you want to make sure you're getting notified about the Lunar Living broadcasts or about the Sidereal Insights Astro updates that we do every 2 weeks on the Mystick Physick Astrology Facebook page, you'll get notified. So be sure and update your preferences. Also, don't forget to join me Sunday the 29th, as we talked about earlier, for the full moon releasing for the full moon in Libra. That's at 7:30 p.m. And then May overview is coming very shortly. I'm a little bit behind schedule on that, unfortunately, partly due to some home renovation projects that I have been working on that have taken me a little bit more time than I anticipated. But I'll let you know as soon as that's available on the website so that you can read the May overview and your short reports. And then also, if you are just catching the broadcast for the first time, if you're new to Mystick Physick Astrology, if you want to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, definitely do that. I'll post a link in the comments, because that way you'll get notified every time I upload a video. You'll never miss an astro update or a lunar live stream or any of the astrology tutorials that I record on occasion. So thank you for joining me. I will keep an eye on the questions and comments feed for this video throughout the remainder of the day and in the next couple of days. And that way, if anyone does have questions that they'd like to have answered about any of our upcoming transits, I'd be happy to address those questions for you. Thank you so much for watching me, and have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.